another operator from Nigeria, Sanmi Lajuwomi. Sanmi, I would like to say that you are the founder and chief executive officer of Winnock Limited, an indigenous Nigerian organization that provides rooftop solar through operating and finance leads to micro businesses located in cluster markets across Nigeria. Sami holds a degree in BSc Computing and Business Information Systems from the University of East London, certifications in Leadership and Finance and Management from City University London, and is a practitioner certification in Project Management. Prior to founding Winnock Limited, Sami worked as a technology consultant for a number of media and publishing organizations in the United Kingdom, most notably Sky TV, where he led the delivery of a 2.5 billion transformation project. Sami is an avid reader, golfer, and globalist. So Sami, I would leave you to give your presentation. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. First, I would like to thank the organizers of this event for giving me the opportunity to share my 2 cents on energy infrastructure and development. This is a topic that, in fact, is timely in Nigeria with the advent of COVID-19 and the need for economies to be as productive as possible for their people. So I don't know if you all can see my slide.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I'll be quick. As the moderator said, the name of the organization is Winnock. And what we do is we make it easy for micro businesses to own equipment through lease to own. And the reason why we are doing this is that we see that micro businesses, of which there are 41.1 million of them, according to the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics, are low. They hold low. They are the low-hanging fruit that we can really use to start to gain positive economic traction in the Nigerian economy. Now, we believe as Winnock, we believe that the way that we can do that is to empower these micro businesses by giving them equipment that they will need to improve their productivity. And we strongly believe that there will be an inevitable positive net effect on Nigeria's GDP if we can increase the productivity of 41.1 million registered micro businesses, not to even talk of the informal sector. So one of the equipment that we provide to these micro businesses for true lease to own is rooftop solar. And if you're familiar with MTN solar, it's similar to what they do, except what we do, the capacity of our solar system is about 10 times the size. And if you scale theirs up, it's about half the price. So since the theme of the discussion is energy infrastructure and development, I would like to tell you why I believe rooftop solar in Nigeria is a key solution to quickly gaining traction in solving the electricity issue. I won't spend much time on the electricity problem because I believe this is a well-known issue. Indeed, the first speaker has touched on the challenges that the discos, gencos, and other players in the industry face. So I won't touch on that too much. I'll just focus on the solution that I know, which is rooftop solar. So presently, according to the World Bank, a report that they did in June 2020, the present economic cost of power shortage for businesses in Nigeria is about $28 billion. Well, I want to pose it to you that I believe it is probably 10 times, if not 100 times that, right? Because data is very difficult to get in Nigeria, but we'll go with World Bank because they're a well-trusted organization. Now, why solar? Why solar versus other sources of generation like gas? Or shall I say, why solar along with other sources? Because I believe you need a wide range of energy mix to solve this power problem. Because what is viable in one region might not be the best solution in another region. But for solar, in Nigeria, Nigeria has about 4,383 of sunshine hours per year. Now, what that means is, imagine it's like Saudi Arabia having abundant oil, right? Nigeria has abundant sunshine, which makes solar highly affordable compared to other countries like the United Kingdom, where the average sunshine is 1,493 hours per year. Little wonder why, I wonder why they have more they've deployed more solar than us, but that's outside of the scope of this discussion. Then why rooftop? Why not mini grid? Because mini grid is another form of solar. Rooftop is easy to deploy, and it also takes less space compared to rooftop, and even frankly, compared to mini grid, and even frankly, other forms of electricity. Just to let you guys, just give you a quick, if I can take a few seconds to explain the difference. Rooftop solar is essentially a private owner of a property, either a business or a homeowner, putting solar panels on the roof of their property, and then to collect sun during the day, to power their appliances, and then storing the excess in battery. Whereas mini grid is where a power developer, either private or government, goes to a location, deploys a bunch of solar and storage solution, and distributes to typically a small number of people, a community. So that's the difference between rooftop and mini grid. With mini grid, you need a lot of space, but with rooftop, it's just the customer's roof that you need. So Winnock focuses on the rooftop aspect. Another thing I want to touch on quickly is that the rooftop segment of the solar industry is completely unregulated. So if you are a player in this industry, in this space, you do not need any net license if you're doing rooftop, and you do not need any power regulatory permission to do this. It's between you and the customer. So I would also like to give you just a very quick example of why I believe rooftop solar is a quick solution to quickly close the gap between the electricity demand and the limited supply that we have. According to the USAID's, some statistics I got from USAID's website, which Mr. Duro has touched on as well very briefly earlier. Nigeria has an installed capacity of generation capacity of 12,522 megawatts. And I believe we supply or distribute around 3,000 to 4,000 megawatts consistently over the last few years. Now, according to the Association of Nigeria Electricity Distributors, in order for us to even start to scratch the surface on closing the gap between the demand and supply, we need about 180 megawatts of generation. Now, that's 18 gigawatts. Now, I want to juxtapose with what is happening in the US industry, which completely highlights the point as to why solar is the best way to quickly close the gap. The US installed, this is rooftop solar, installed 3.5 gigawatts of solar PV capacity in Q2 2020 alone. This is in the middle of the COVID-19, right? And they've reached a total installed capacity of 85 gigawatts of total installed capacity of 85 gigawatts. Now, the beauty, as I said, about this industry is that whilst I actually think personally, I think the government is doing their best. I mean, given the socio-political context that we have found ourselves in, right? I would find that the pace they are moving, you can look at it from the vantage point of an observer and say, okay, the government is not doing this and that. But I think they are doing what they can, given what they have. So we private players need to now get into the industry and see how we can start to help. Looking at the low-hanging fruits like the rooftop solar industry, which Winnock Solar is in, and see how we can close the gap, benefit the country, and benefit ourselves as well. So I believe I've been able to quickly highlight that rooftop solar is actually the way to go. Also, if I can also point out, if you look at the situation now with the economy, right, and the rhetoric from Buhari, I can challenge anybody, and I want anybody here that can tell me which alternative they can see to rooftop solar that will replace generator. I believe that, yes, you can't do without the grid electricity, right? The government playing in the industry, but that will take some time, years, if not decades, if not a millennium, to get to where we need to be. Now, Buhari mentioned in a newspaper article that I read today on Business Day that, look, frankly, the petrol price will go up. He didn't say might go up. He said will go up. He said Ghana charges around 330 naira per liter on petrol, and then Nigeria needs to completely deregulate. And I'm thinking from his rhetoric that we'll be looking at around between 200 to 300 naira per liter. At the same time, they are raising the tariff almost by 100%, right? What do you think these people will do? Do you think they will just sit and fold their hands and say, okay, we'll just take it as it comes? No. Solar is actually about 50%. What we offer is 50% cheaper than using petrol generator, right? That was before COVID-19. Once the new tariff has settled, we'll be able, the new petrol price per liter has settled, we'll do the research again and see what the new price is. But it's a no-brainer, right? So I want to encourage any private player that has the money to go into this. It's lucrative. There's little competition. In fact, competition is non-existent at the moment. There's zero regulation, and you just have to register your business, find your supplier, find your customer. That's all. So to that point, I want to present to you, or rather, I want to share with you our business model, and hopefully this will inspire somebody today. Whilst I've hopefully convinced you that we should start looking as private individuals into what we can do in the rooftop solar industry, I also want to tell you that there's a bottleneck that is actually causing, because with all I've said, it's a no-brainer that we should be seeing solar panels across all roofs in Nigeria, but that is simply not the case. Now, the main bottleneck is this. Nigerians have very low purchasing power, and solar has a very high upfront cost, right? So as a result of that, whilst the demand is evident, right? The supply has been slow because of purchasing power. Now, frankly, we're not model, but we are doing something innovative around it, which I'll touch on. MTN, I would say, in fact, M-Copper, if we're going to look at Africa as a whole, a company that started off with the solar home system was the company that started off with solar home systems in Kenya. Then MTN being, I would say, the pioneer in Nigeria. Now, what is the business model? It's very simple. You find your customers that are having power problems, either private homeowners or micro or businesses of any scale, either micro, medium, or even large scale. You come to an agreement with them that, okay, I'm going to supply you power, and you can use two of either models. You can go with a finance lease, so which is you give them power, you give them all the components, all the solar components upfront, and then for the finance lease, you tell them that for X number of period of time, they are going to be paying a certain amount, and then after they reach a certain period, they own it. For example, you can meet a medium-sized company that needs around, let's say, around 100 kilowatts of power per day, right? Supply per day, and tell them, okay, I will give you all the components, you pay me, and then after 3 to 5 years, it will be your own, right? Then there's also the operating lease, which is you basically give them and you become like a power supplier, like NEPA. You sign a power purchasing agreement, typically around 10 years, and then it's always, and then you tell them that, okay, you basically tell them that the tariff will be tied to inflation, right? Or if you are foreign, or if you've gotten your money from abroad, you tell them that there's a change in FX, you will reflect, you basically revise the tariff. But Winnock is a finance lease company. What we do is that we give the components to these extremely micro businesses, your phone charger, your barber that has 1 or 2 clippers, your tailor with 1 or 2 sewing machines, those kinds of people that need just little capacity between 500 watts to 5 kilowatts per day. Those are the kind of people we deal with. So we give it to them, they sign a contract, we basically, they make a fixed payment on a monthly basis, we maintain it for them, for 1.5 years, they own the components, right? Now, from day one, they are saving 50% on electricity costs. By year 5, compared to petrol generator, by year 5, it's gone to 500%, right? And then they don't need to replace anything but the battery by year 5 at the cost of 100,000 naira. Then the panels, 25 years, the inverters, 10 years. So, but if the customer does not pay, we have our right to take the components back. And then we can quickly reassign it to another customer. We refurbish and reassign. So that's the business model. It's very straightforward. So on my final slide is to touch on so that's the energy infrastructure part, right? Just to quickly summarize that part. I'm saying low-hanging fruit, rooftop solar, clear alternative to petrol generator. Inevitable petrol generator will start to decline in demand because of the increase in petrol price, right? Inevitable people will come off grid because of the increase in tariff. Inevitable everybody will go for rooftop solar. So now the economic aspect. What is the economic benefit of rooftop solar to Nigeria or indeed any region globally, right? I want to explain this to you using the Sustainable Development Goals. I believe we all know the Sustainable Development Goals. There are 17 goals that United Nations have said that we should align globally and try to achieve. The ones that rooftop solar, particularly what Winnock is doing, helps to achieve 6 goals, which I will touch on quickly. As you all know, development is not only financial. Development is also in other areas. The measures of development goes beyond just finance alone. So the 6 areas are: solar promotes health and well-being by reducing carbon emission, and by replacing a 1.5 kVA of generator with a 1 kVA solar, you are literally cutting out about 1.5 tons of CO2 per day, every day, right? And also, as you know about the carbon, the fumes, right, from generators, you all know that these are very dangerous, and a lot of people die from inhaling these fumes. Solar is cutting that out completely, and all these other benefits. Affordable and clean energy, I already touched on the fact that it's cheaper than petrol generator. Decent work, by the way, just to mention that actually it's just what Winnock is doing, rooftop, that is cheaper than petrol generator. Mini grid is usually more expensive for reasons that I can touch on outside, basically in the Q&A session. Or if you have more questions, you can reach out to the organizers of this event and they'll be able to reach me. So affordable and clean energy, rooftop solar certainly achieves that. Decent work and economic growth. I mean, if people have power, which we are supplying a minimum of 15 hours per day with our solution, right? That's taking somebody that is off-grid to about 15 hours per day, which is remarkable transformation. You can imagine that these people are having better income. A customer, for example, that charges phones and charges his customers 15 naira per each phone charge, right? Has actually, within the first year of using our solution, was able to save 1 million naira. Now, to a poor man, 1 million naira is like billion. Now he can send his children to better schools. Now he can provide better food for his family, etc. So it's a no-brainer, decent work and economic growth. Sustainable cities, climate change action that I touched on earlier, and closer partnership between private players like myself. I mean, we're already in bed with USA, we're already in bed with UKA, we have a number of, we have the former Minister of Energy backing us, for Tunisia backing us, and a number of organizations like that. So it's fostering, it's helping to foster partnership between private players like myself and development agencies and development finance institutions, which will eventually have a positive effect on the grassroots of Nigeria. Inevitable positive effect on the development of the grassroots, and inevitable positive effect on the net effect on the reduction of poverty, and finally, inevitable positive effect on net effect on Nigeria's GDP. So that's my presentation, and I look forward to taking questions during the Q&A.